Introduce. I'm respond to the name Godfred Oduro. And before I start with my presentation, there is something that I want you to know. Anything that we are doing here is a choices. You are the one that will choose whether to learn it or not. And when I put this book here and I put this water here, please come. It is two things. If I put it here and I ask you to pick one, which one will you pick? And I ask you, why do you want to pick this book? It depends on you. It is your own way. Like you understand, you know what it is in this book. That's why you pick this book. Thank you, you can sit down. So anything that we are doing here is choices. I put water here and I place this book here. He choose the book. He choose the book. Why? Because he knew that there are things in this book that he can learn. Someone will also choose the water because they are saying that water is life. I can drink it and then I will live for long. But he chose this book. Why? Because he knows the benefit that it is in this book. So anything that we are doing here is choices. You can choose whether to do it or whether not to do it. Okay, so in my book it is with 3 parts. So I talk about the first part that was the exterior. So you know that everything that we do, it is in us before we bring it out. So when I want to insult you, I have think about it. So before I insult you, I already know what I'm coming to tell you. So this is what I am come to talk about. And sometimes we think that self-discipline is always the thing that we do, that we have to be disciplined about it. No, sometimes we have to discipline our thoughts. The way we think, we have to be disciplined about it. Sometimes we think that, it is only the thing that we do. So when I'm going here, I'm disciplining myself not to go here. When I'm doing this, I don't want to do this. No, sometimes the way we think, we have to be disciplined about it. Sometimes you'll be there and you feel like there's a bad thought coming to your mind. That's when the focus comes in. You have to find your fingers so that you can start doing like this to bring your mind back to yourself. So whenever you do that, it helps you to move forward. It helps you to do the right thing always. Now, self-discipline also counts on our feelings. It helps us to discipline ourselves, our feelings, what we like to do. Oh, today I feel not to go to church. Sometimes some people say today doesn't feel like Sunday to go to church, but self-discipline also help us in our feelings. The way we feel like, oh, today I don't want to go to church. No, it helps us to also discipline ourselves in our feelings. Not only maybe I'm going here, I'll not go up. No, but also it helps us to discipline ourselves in our feelings. Also, it helps us to comport ourselves. Self-discipline also helps us to comport ourselves. There are things that self-discipline helps us to do, but we think, oh, I did it. No. Imagine that you are hungry and you have to go and steal something. But when you comport yourself, oh no, let me endure this pain. I know that when my mom comes, I'm going to eat. When we discipline ourselves, it is helping us, it is strengthening us. So self-discipline also help us to comport ourselves, also help in our feelings and then our thinking. Now, there are a lot of people in the Bible that were disciplined. Now, when we read Daniel chapter 6, verse 10, it tells us how Daniel disciplined himself. Because at that time, in Babylon, the king said that they should not worship anyone. But at that time, that day that the king said that, Daniel was in his house praying. Now, he disciplined himself. Not that it is his daily routine. It is what he likes to do. So, no matter what that the king have said, he has to do that. And being disciplined to the extent that he was even putting into the lion's den, but because it was the protection of God, nothing happens to them, which means he's very disciplined. It's not like we always find it difficulties that when we find difficulties that in discipline ourselves, but we shouldn't fall victim to it. We should strive and then improve on that. And also Joseph, when you read Genesis chapter 39, verse 7 to 12, it tells us that how Joseph was disciplined. Because at that time, Potiphar's wife wanted to have an affair with Joseph. By looking at how Joseph was disciplined, he said, I cannot sin against my master and God, which means that you know how disciplined he was. He didn't want to sin against his master and then God. So we have to be also disciplined enough. There are a lot of people in the Bible that were disciplined. When you also read Job chapter 1 and then Job chapter 2, it also tell us how disciplined Job was. Now, even Paul, the one who was killing Christians, and then later he came into, God called him and then he became part of his disciple and then preaching his word. Now, when we read First Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24 to 27, he said, I have run the race, but being disciplined to the extent that even he was caned, he was punished a lot, but he disciplined himself not to move aside from what he's doing. You know that everything he's doing, everything he's doing it for God. So when he's suffering for God. And at the end of the game, you know that he has something that God will give it to him. You know that he have a special thing that will be given to him. And now, before we can be disciplined, we have to get a strong sense of purpose. You have to know your purpose. You have to know your why. When your why is very strong and your purpose is very strong, you can always move forward. When your why is strong, why am I being disciplined at this time? No, when I'm disciplined at this part, I am going to move forward. I'm not going to fall victim. I'm going to move forward so that it is going to help me. So when we have a strong purpose, we are going to move forward. And we having a strong purpose, it was said by Booker T. Washington. The book talk about him in my book. So he said we have to have a strong purpose. Now, as I am here, I'm speaking. When I'm speaking, let's take anything that I'm here saying yes to. Let's say I'm telling myself to be disciplined. I'm saying yes to discipline. But because I'm saying yes, and as I'm saying yes to discipline, I am saying no to certain things. Because I'm saying yes to discipline, it is helping me. And when I discipline myself in certain cases, I am going to also move forward. And me saying yes to certain things means I'm saying no to other things. So I am going to also speak on the topic called focus. Focus. Now, focus is the ability to concentrate your attention on a specific task, goal, or activity while ignoring distraction. Now, sometimes we lose focus, but the thing is, when we get focus and then we apply it, we always move forward. Now, let's take you are here and then you are thinking about good things and you feel like thinking about bad things. Now, that's when I think one of our man taught us the focus, like the F, find your fingers. Now, when you do like this, it draws your mind back to whatever you are thinking of. So, focus is something that we should not practice. We should always practice so that we always move forward. Now, focus also help us to set clear priorities and goals. Now, when you are focused, you know, oh, this is the priorities, these are my priorities, these are my goals. So, focus also help us to set the right priorities and goals. Focus also help us to manage our time wisely. When we are focused on one thing, oh, this is the thing that I'm focused to. So I'm going to maybe use 20 minutes to do this. When you do that, it is helping you. It helps you to manage your time wisely. And know that time is very precious in our life. You can't bring time back. Let's say when I tell you I'm going to give you 20 CDs and I do not give it to you, the next day I can give it to you. I have given it to you, but time is not something that we buy with our money. When time passes, it is gone. You cannot bring it back again. So time is the most precious thing also in our life. Now, time is also a gift from God. You cannot tell me that I'm just here and then the time is going. God can stop the time right now. So time is also a gift from God. So you should learn how to also manage our time wisely. When we manage our time wisely, it also helps us to move forward and then set our goals and then priorities very well. Now, routine is an essential tool in the management of time. When you are always saying, oh, every day I'm going to use 20 minutes to learn my book. Now, what is going to help you to do everything? It is your routine. When every day you do it, it helps you to become your character. Now, my teacher once told me that it takes 21 days to build up a character. So when these 21 days, when every day I'm doing it, every day I'm doing it, it becomes part of me. It helps me to always move forward. And when we are doing this thing, there are people that they are going to disturb you because they think that, oh, this guy is doing this. Why shouldn't I disturb him so that he's going to do that? No. But sometimes we should be patient with our friends. When we are patient with our friends, we can help them to also do the right thing. So, as I have said patience, then let me go back to patience. So, he said, patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate difficult or unpleasant situation without upset or frustrated. Now, when we are always patient, when we are patient to certain things, there are things that we don't rush up to. Now, when I'm patient that, oh, my mother told me that he's going to buy me phone, but if I don't rush and then do certain things to get phone, I'll get my phone. Past, I'm not falling into any temptation. Because there are some people that they are not patient and then start to go into relationship that they themselves don't like it, but because they are not patient enough, they see their friends doing certain things. They want to also get in a hurry to do that. But when we are patient, we can we can humble ourselves, and then God is also going to help us to prepare. And we being patient too, we need the help of God, because there are things that it is beyond your limit. There are things that you can say, this one I don't want to be patient. Let me just go and do it. But with the help of God, we can be patient and then also move forward. Now, patience also help us to endure hardship and calmness. Sometimes there are hardships. There are things that you feel like, oh, this thing that I have to do it. I have to no. But sometimes we need patience. We need patience so that we can wait for the right time to do that. Sometimes the hardship that we will be facing to no, so no, let me stop worshiping you and then do that. No. But when we are patient enough, God also help us to do that. And then patience also help us to manage our emotion and reaction. The emotion that you're going through, maybe sometimes you feel like, oh, this time there I feel like not going to church. No, but or maybe I feel like maybe going to steal because I'm hungry, and you are emotional and your emotions start to come. No. The patient is always there to help us. It helps us to strengthen us so that you do the right thing. And then patience also preserve. Patience help us to persevere through challenges. When we are facing challenges, when we feel like not being patient, patience is the one that help us to persevere through that challenges. When we are facing any challenges, know that, oh no, let me wait for the right time. I know that God will come to me. God knows the right thing, and God knows what is best for me. So when we are always patient, we know that God is the one who is helping us. So it helps us to persevere through challenges. And when we are to read Hebrews chapter 16, verse 15, it shows how patient Abraham was. He waited for God's time, and then the promise that God did for him, it came true. Anything that God said on him, it came true. When we read Hebrews 6:15, it talks about how patient Abraham was. Now, I have said everything, but there are certain things that I want us to know. Now, everything that I said, you cannot do it alone. There are certain things that you yourself, you can handle it. By one, you have to be willing to make others help you. There are things that you cannot do it alone. That's why we are all here. There are things you can tell your friends to help you. You know you cannot do it alone. If you want to go fast, you can go alone. But if you want to go far, you go with people. There are things that you cannot handle alone, but you can let your friend also help you. And then if your friend is helping you too, you have to be open up. You don't have to, like, when your friend wants to approach you and then say good things to you, you'll be there and it seems like you are there. No, you have to be open up, and then let your friends also come to you. When you are open up, it's also open room for people to also help you. Now, there are things that, as I said, there are things that you cannot do it alone. So you have to also share the load. Now, you sharing the load, there are physical responsibilities and then emotional responsibilities. There are things that you can tell the right person to teach you. You cannot go and tell anyone, but with the right person, and there are people that they can help you in your physical activities, and there are people that they can also help in your emotional activities. There are things that your emotion can tell you to do this, do that. But with the right people, they can tell you that no, this thing you don't have to do this. You have to do this. When we seek counseling from those that we think that they are good, they are going to help you with the right people, they can help you to move forward. And we have to also stop procrastination. When you want to go and tell your friend that, oh, please help me, don't say, oh, today I'll go, tomorrow I'll go. No, you don't have to do that. But you should be always ready that, oh, today I'm going to tell my friend. You should don't be procrastinating. And when they help you and you have to put it into practice, you shouldn't say that, oh, today I feel like not to do it, so tomorrow. You have to be open up. You have to learn. You have to be always willing to put it into practice. So all this I have said, when we take it, as I already said, it is choices. I have said a lot, but you can choose whether to do it or not. That's why I placed this bottle and I placed this book here, but he chose the book. He knows the reason why he picked the book. So it is choices. I have talked a lot, but when you are willing to choose and then to do it, it is going to help you. Thank you.
Wow.